Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We will be with you shortly.
I
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be with you in just a moment. Here we go, here we go!
Tell me that you're gassed up, I'll pass you a flask full of Jack Love at last. I'm at peace with this vast blood. Only took a crash landing down in the trash mud to figure out why I've been so smashed up. Holy moly, lonely only when I'm coldly zoning, cozy in my holy home without my homie ceremonies, zoning in my own, roaming through my dome, hoping that I'm only throwing stones to get you going. Maybe you could clone me, break the ache and make me hate the way forsaken snakes take their stake in what I make and break it. Maybe lay it on a plate, maybe shoot it out in space to watch it die. Either
Listening to All Gassed Up by Wes. Tree City Wes. Who knew he was a rapper before he's a crypto star? Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another episode of this great award-winning show. Today is July 16th, Whoa, I almost said 2015 because I have scribble here. 2025. BTC is hanging in there, just chilling up near its highs, but off a little bit. Ethereum's ripping right now. Is it going to keep going or not? Cardano's in a big bull flag right now. Are alts ready? Is Bitcoin dominance going to come down? Are alts ready to go? We'll find more about that later. What are the big meme coins up to? We'll learn about that. And all of these great things here. But the topic of the day, remember, it's Crypto Week. The U.S. Congress has declared it Crypto Week. The Stable Coin Act, the Genius Act, the Clarity Act, and the Anti-State Surveillance Act are all in Congress this week. In fact, President Trump is on the screen right next to me, and he was just talking about the Genius Act and hoping that it would get passed here this week. We're going to talk about that later. We've been summarizing one of the bills every day this week. Pedro, you working on your camera there? Oh, look at that. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, the sunglassed connoisseur of technical analysis, Mr. Pedro Garcia.
Love you, dude. This connoisseur. What did you say? Sunglass connoisseur. What was it? Sunglass and connoisseur. Anyways, that was epic. I get it, man.
Good morning, Pedro. What's happening this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing well. I haven't worn these in about a week because my eyes, I just haven't needed them. And then I woke up this morning and I had a late night last night. And I was like, I probably should be able to get some. I probably need sleep. You know,
that's why I have this stuff right here at my desk. Right here, a little Visine, just in case. I only wear a contact in one eye, this one, so I can see in far and close at the same time. But this is the one I don't wear it in usually, and for some reason that's the one that gets really red. So I won't put it in the eye with the contacts, but I'll put it in here. So clear everything up on those times when you stay up too late, which I did last night, watching crypto move around and do that type of stuff. But anyway, sorry I interrupted you. What has happened in this great 24 hours since we've last spoken?
Long story short, just give me a minute. I'm gonna take these glasses off. I just need to wear them for a few minutes. I actually got up really late, which I normally don't. I'm normally a pretty early riser, so I'm gonna keep these on for a few minutes because my eyes were weak. It's weird. I haven't worn these in a week or so, and they've been.
These little glasses here. Let's just put Pedro in the big screen here. These glasses have those little holes in them. And they force your eyes to do something that probably one website says is bunk science, and another website says is simply genius. But after the man wears them, he doesn't read like a third grader anymore. He reads more like a seventh grader or eighth grader. So just remember, I'm not making fun of Pedro. Pedro and I are both having vision issues as we age here. I wear one contact so I can see.
I have no problem with that, man. Making fun of you. It's totally okay.
Welcome to everybody joining us on Rumble, our channel de jour right now, the de facto home of DYOR Media. Also, we do get a lot of views on LinkedIn when we broadcast there, but we save the more serious shows for there, so we don't get buried in the noise. YouTube, once again, is already giving us the business.
It breaks my heart because
we're so good. You're so good with them for so long, and all of a sudden they're like, "Crypto no good, man. Crypto no good. We break you on the algorithm."
Literally.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to everyone on Rumble. Pedro, our followers are going up on Rumble. Did you know that?
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah,
going up,
dude.
And they're going up because I do things like I ask you to follow us. I just simply ask you to follow us. It really helps. And it's not because, we got to have more followers than someone else. It's because Pedro and I know that when you click that like and that follow button, it tells Rumble that something good's going on here. Wink, wink, if you're interested in those Rumble rants. Where's Chuck Jansen when we need him? But anyway, all this feedback isn't so much a benefit to Pedro and I directly. What it benefits is the Rumble algorithm saying, hey, something's good going on here. Let's put this show in front of more eyeballs. And that is what we need. But it seems like whenever I ask for more interaction and you ask for more interaction, we get it.
Yes, we do, and we appreciate it. I actually have to step in. I had my door open up to my back room.
God, I totally forgot that I left you in the middle here on the solo screen here. I'm doing all this talking.
That's right.
All right, Pedro, come back when you can. I'll give the morning briefing here.
Yeah, real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. I was actually just going to read a commercial, but it disappeared off of our list of things to do. Right now, staying out of the market, trading right now, because President Trump, as you can see over my shoulder, is having a press conference with, to be honest, I don't know who he's with right now. I don't recognize him. I assume he's a head of state of some sort. I haven't perused the Trump news. But we like to not trade when he's talking. Meaning scalp or small trades. If you're a long-term trader, intraday, multi-day, doesn't really matter when he speaks. But he moves the market when he does because he'll say something like crypto good and Bitcoin pumps. He'll say Elizabeth Warren bad and crypto pumps. Or he'll say Jerome Powell is this and that. He was bashing Jerome Powell just a few minutes ago, calling for his resignation. And why in all of the not all, but many of the governors of the Fed are speaking today. Remember, Jerome Powell is just one of many. He's the chairman of the group, of the committee, and gets to be the one that speaks to set the policy. But remember, it's a committee. It's a committee. And even if Trump fires him and puts someone in there that wants to drop rates to zero, it's not up to that guy. Not up to that guy. It's up to the committee who votes. So when Mr. Trump speaks, we stay out of the market. That's Pedro's just talking about the Trump effect. Since he's speaking right now, the market really isn't doing much. Liquidity is just kind of hanging out because people are wary. Obviously not long-term investors, but people that want to day trade like we talk about on the show. We're just kind of sitting around waiting for Trump to say good, bad, evil, that type of stuff, and watch the markets pump. Because remember, whenever Trump says something, it goes against whatever your position you're in. Does it ever pump in your favor? Like, oh wow, Trump said
Yes.
something and I made 20x. No, it's always
Well,
the opposite.
because I feel like when he does talk, there is some form of manipulation in the market. Why isn't that now going?
No, I don't know what you're talking about,
And
Pedro.
it's funny. There was a wasp. I had my back door open, and all of a sudden a wasp flew into my computer room, and I forgot that the back door was open. And dude, if I was like, wait, why is there a wasp in here? And it was flying around my PC, and I was like, okay, so I had to grab it, push it out, and then I just came back, and one of my
Those
screens
freaking
went
wasps.
dark.
Can't trust them.
I love them, but you just got to be careful for the killer hornets. Those things are crazy.
I don't know how humans ever evolved just knowing that hornets and wasps are on the planet, because there's some
Scary.
frankly, I don't know anyone ever, including the people that started in Asia and then came across the Bering Strait to populate North America. I think they left Asia just because of the giant hornets and crazy ass flying insects they have over there. They're like, let's get the shit out of here. They're like, well, we got a canoe and the ocean's 10,000 miles. Fuck it, out.
The hornets is too
You
much.
seen the
and we
videos of those things? They're like big as people's heads, and they follow them with drones and find the thing, and they flamethrow gas them. The Ukrainians should be hiring those guys to do the drones. I mean, how'd you guys beat the Russians? And we hired all those dudes from Indonesia that fight those flying
have
dinosaurs.
trained horns. Flying dinosaurs. That's funny.
Everybody, as Pedro always
it's
says,
funny
let
'cause
us know
those
where
are
you're
real.
coming
That
from.
is a real thing, man. And
Sorry, we're speaking.
Yes,
Pedro and I are
yes.
speaking over each other. I think we got a little delay again, Pedro.
oh shoot, you want it? Sorry, guys. Here, let me go ahead
Just go
and
into-
talk
just
a
go
little bit real
into-
quick. I'm gonna send some of.
All right, you do your thing.
BTC.
I'm just go into BTC and I'll refresh the Director Studio, see if it helps it.
All right. All right, guys, let's do this here real quick. Now, we got a couple things going on right now with BTC, which is really fun. We talked about that 8-period moving average coming in, expecting it to go up, then come down, which is what we talked about, and then kind of see what's going to happen here. It's exactly what we saw. And the nice thing behind it is we didn't really put any real supply wick in on yesterday's candle, which is a good sign saying most likely we're going to continue up. So I do expect us to kind of push up. Now, this red candle, as you can see, it ended red for the day. But if you look at the actual day trading, or the full day trading, the full day of trading. There you go. The full day of trading. You can see here, we had a decent amount of sellers in the evening, right? But then if you look at the, once it comes into the trading day, the US trading day, you can see that they consolidated here. And what was nice about it is when they consolidated, we're at a decent amount of volume here. So you can see that this volume area here is actually kind of a position I think this is a position building starting situation where we could see a couple days of just consolidating here, maybe kind of tinkered around this level, like I said, between that 120 115 area. And then once you see, and this is going to be important because I always talk about this, the increase of buyers and then that decrease of sellers. Right now, we're kind of seeing an increase of sellers, but a steady amount of buyers here, which shows me that I think they're just building up a position here between these levels before they put that next leg in. I thought they were going to want to push up to that 130. I was hoping 130 by the end of the week, but we will see.
Needs a super pump for that.
No, man, it's only bro. It is less than 8%. That's nothing, dude. Like that. Why would you say we need a super pump for that?
Well, it's 8%, but it's a lot of dollars.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I guess so, but I mean, ultimately, when I look at Bitcoin and I see what they're doing, once that I really do think we're gonna see an old-fashioned real built system, right? Like what we've seen in the past with BTC. right? Where what I mean by that is that when the market starts to get going, it gets going. You know, it's not just something that just gonna die.
You there, Pedro?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Sorry, I thought I lost your audio.
No, you didn't. My PC was just being fun again. Looks like we might be doing the same thing we did yesterday.
Oh, great. Everybody, I got the Bitcoin
yes.
up the great graphics machine here. I wanted to point out
Yes.
that Bitcoin has more than 2.3 trillion. I think we hit 2.5 trillion the other day at 123,000. But this is the big number here. 24-hour volume, $52 billion. And I don't know how they calculate that, Pedro. That's an amazing number. Is that just exchanges, reporting what's in spot? Does it include futures? If that's just the spot number, I should send an inquiry to find out, see if I can figure out what that number is. But
no, that has to be spot, because you get future indexes or future exchanges aren't like majority of them are decentralized. So why would they sit there and?
No, I mean the futures majority are centralized, but they're not actually Bitcoin futures contracts.
Right.
Most of them you can't even. Let me rephrase that. Most exchanges have two types of perpetuals. They have the Bitcoin USDT based on you essentially have to trade, settle it against cash, and then they also have a Bitcoin futures thing where you send in your own Bitcoin and you get more out of it. So obviously it's easy to see when people trade Bitcoin on that or borrow it from an exchange and all that. Anyway, long story short, I don't know how that number's accounted for, but it's massive. It's massive, $52 billion. I mean, just think of the fees, even just a tiny little maker and taker fees. That there's some big money being made out, big money being traded, big money being made out there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is, I'm going to use the term Wall Street, but the exchanges aren't Wall Street. They soon will all be Wall Street. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. The CME will go around, what, Mexi's legal in the US now? Okay, boop, there you go, we'll buy you. Because they want perpetual contracts also instead of just the standard contract.
Bad. They want it.
They'll buy some. As soon as they're legal, one of those groups is legal in the US, CME will be like, we have billions, boop. Anyway, but this is a number that is just unheard of only a few years ago, $52 billion. Which is amazing. You know what else is amazing is that we've got a whole bunch of viewers watching us on Rumble, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to everyone watching us there.
Everyone, you guys, thank you so much.
Appreciate every one of those screen shares and incognito modes. But regardless, they should be sending us an ad here soon. Amazingly, Pedro, we started almost immediately with that amount with more than 10, and we had an ad, and I didn't see it right away for the beginning of the show. And so once you miss a cycle,
the first one.
I don't know how long, but it takes a while. Hopefully, we'll earn our 26 cents today, or even up to 54 cents.
Yeah, let's hope for 83 cents.
Pedro, in my opening statement, I mentioned two things: ETH ripping and Cardano in a bull flag, both of which I just grabbed from the internet itself. What's going on
bro.
with them?
Let's go. So we've been talking about ETH here now for a minute. Bouncing off. We thought that it was, and we've talked about this. I thought we were going to fall through the 100-day period movement average at that 2100. So I said, guys, here is this place right here. But once we really, first of all, back at these levels here, I said, I expect ETH to continue up, right? At this, and between May and June, I said, look, I'm expecting this thing to go up. Look at this right here. We're seeing that increase in volume while we're seeing a consolidation period. And then at this point, I said, the decrease in sellers, I said, well, I think that what it's going to look for is these buyers down at these levels here, that 1500 and 1300. But when price held at the 100-day period moving average, which is the yellow line there, as you can see, that's this line right there, just that you can see there. Oh, sorry, that's horrible. Sorry, guys. That line right there. I'm getting better at this, though. I was practicing a little yesterday. This area right here, that line, it bounced off of, and it's an institutional line. Okay, you're like, it's just a line, Pedro. What do you mean? Well, institutions use 100-day period moving average, 200-day period moving averages, and 50-day period moving averages. Put it on your chart. Always pay attention to it. Okay, price above it, that's good. Price below it, not good. That's simple. So when you look at it from this perspective that it held here, and then we started again putting in low volume and then setting up their position here, I said either it's going to fall through, right, and we're going to tap, and that's why we drew this liquidity point here. Remember, the dotted purple lines are liquidity areas that I like to use for quick day trade, like you just get in, make that money and get out. I said expected to pull down, or we're going to consolidate. We'll see what's up. But I expected us to go down, but it didn't. And once we started staying above this 8 right here, I said, this baby's on. Look at this. And so I noticed right in these levels here, as we were holding, and in particular, when we bounced off of it right here, and we held, which was right here. You see that? Like, we literally came in, hit the 8, found support, found buyers here. And this is important. When you look down at that volume,
8 period moving average is what Pedro's talking about. And he's on a day chart, so that means 8 days average pricing. Go ahead, Pedro.
Yes. Yeah. And so what's interesting is this, is as we are moving in this level, we find support. This is why I said, I expect if we hold this, and we keep moving up, it's going to go up. And I said, remember at the time I had a zone right here, and we had a zone upon a zone, and I removed the zone, and I said, this thing's done. We've already traded through it. I expect this zone to go through, because you can see right here. And sure enough, yesterday, I said, we're going to come down to the 8 period. I had this right here. Remember, we put in liquidity area right here. And so we could potentially come bounce off of this, get buyers, and then push back up by them selling off. Sure enough, man, they bounced off the 8. We saw it continue up. So now this is it, baby. Like, this is what I'm talking about. This is the stuff when I say to you, they will go down, or they'll first push it up to go down to go up. Always be thinking like that in a in a bull market, because in a bull market, it means that the algorithm looks to bid sell, not bid ask, meaning buy sell, which means that they want to make money, they want to buy at low, and they want to sell at top. And then what happens? You see it come back down again, boom, and it goes back up. And so these are always one of those things. When I was talking about, I said, if you see a sell-off based on your time frame, right? Like if you're 5 minute, it's going to be much further sell-off than, let's say, on a daily, which is going to be, looks like a shorter time frame, right? Like, oh, that's just a wick. But on a 1 minute, you're like, oh my goodness, that drained me, right? So you just got drained. But so these are these small things that by paying attention to the higher time frame and the lower time frame and correlating it together, right? Where all of a sudden you get this magical movement that all of a sudden it just goes up. So it's like, boom, correlate, 200-day period or 200 5-minute period, 200.
Welcome, Crypto Mike.
Moving average, or moving average is 200-day period, not day. Why is that so hard for me? 200 period moving average on the 5 minute. That was so hard, bro. So it hits here, right? And then on, let's say, your daily, it's just the 8 period moving average. So you see the correlation, you see the sell off, boom, and then what do you see? You see the increase, and in that increase, you see it literally just go up. And so this is really cool, right? This is a good example of that from a day trading standpoint. If you want to correlate your.
So now we're with this big daily candle here from, well, essentially today. Are you now expecting a little turn down?
No.
Or are we in launch mode now? Did the turn down already?
Well, yeah. So remember, I told you it wouldn't come. I said if we come down here, expect it to come down. But if it doesn't, it should continue up, because the reality is this is the next level of liquidity now, that 3,500 to 3,700. Like that's where we're sitting here. So the next level is up here, and I don't think it's going to hold that well. I don't. It's a daily zone. It's a monthly, daily, and then smaller time frames. There's been a lot of trading in that area for myself, and so like when I'm looking at that, I'm expecting us to sit there and kind of, obviously we're gonna have a reaction up at that 3,500 area, but I don't think it's going to be a stopper. I think we're going to continue higher. And so we talked about Ethereum getting to that next level up in here. So if it pulls back today or something like that, this is where you want to sit there and kind of play that market. You can see here that as we're pushing up, we're seeing a consistent amount of volume step in. You kind of just seeing that right there, just seeing that kind of push up higher and higher and higher on that daily.
Wow.
And with
handles.
us, with the volume here, you can see these volume here. It's steady. We're above the average of the volume. Here's our volume, which is the blue line, as you can see right here. And so this has been consistently above, meaning they're buying. People are buying. They want to buy in. And so this is where I was saying I'm expecting ETH. We talked about ETH a few months ago. Saying I do expect it to kind of get going here.
It's going.
And then we saw that. Yeah. And so I'm real happy about this trade. It was a great trade. Our dollar trade is killing.
Hold on. Don't go off ETH yet. I walked you into this one for a reason, Pedro. Over on the great graphics machine next to us, if you recall a few minutes ago, I talked about Bitcoin trading $52 billion at a $2.3 trillion market cap. Trillion. Now, Ethereum, as you can see, only has a let's round it up to $400 billion market cap. Yet, in the past 24 hours, it has traded $46 billion. Nearly as much as Bitcoin is being traded in Ethereum, and compared to the market cap, the ratio is much stronger. That means the market is really putting liquidity into this. I mean, you essentially can buy and sell whatever size order you want in Ethereum and get your good fill. But that's how much, for a while, Ethereum was like, everyone's like, oh, it's over. Ethereum sucks. And then all of a sudden, people started talking about it, and you heard the influencers start talking about it. You haven't heard Vitalik selling. You haven't heard. Usually, you hear Vitalik. Vitalik sold another $100 million worth or whatever. And people are like, "See, even Vitalik's done with it." And I'm sure he has way more of it than anyone could possibly imagine. And the price started its creep up because all we did was talk about Bitcoin, the Bitcoin Ethereum gap or spread or whatever it was, and Bitcoin was just dominating ETH, growing and growing and growing. And everyone's like, it's got to reverse. It's got to revert back to some mean. It's got to do something. And it finally has. And it's ripping. People making gains. When was the last time you 2x'd your Bitcoin money in the spot market? Or 1x'd it, just doubled it. It's been a long time since people have done it. It's been a full year or more. In Ethereum, that could happen this week. That's the benefit of these lower price things that you put in there. Anyway, if you got any questions, ladies and gentlemen, I see a whole bunch of you out there. Let us know. We're an interactive show here. My name's Tom, otherwise known as Striking. This is Pedro above me, and the show you're watching is DYOR Live here on the Great Rumble Network, and also some other networks that are just not happy with us. But thank you to all that are joining us. Just remember, everybody, you don't have to pay to be a Rumble subscriber. You can open up a free account. Many of you guys don't know this. But I see it in our follows, and our following are growing. And the reason we ask you this is because we would like all these viewers we have now to follow us and like the stream. And it's not just, like I always say, it's not just because like, ooh, look so cool, we got so many things. It tells the algorithm that something good's going on here. And if you think something's good going on here, please like and subscribe. And to do that, you have to have an account. And I realize many of you have it on the smart TV. And you're like, oh, you're watching this and that. Just open this on your phone. Get the Rumble app or the website, open it up. Sign in with Google or Facebook or your OnlyFans account. No, you can't do that. So see how many of you are actually paying attention out there.
Dude, I actually stumbled on some thing called Loyal Fans. Have you heard about it?
No, I have not.
So there, you can pay, you can give tips with fiat or crypto. It's actually kind of cool. And so it's called Loyal Fans. And I was flipping through it, because I was thinking another avenue for us to share so that I can share our show on it, right?
Right.
And sure enough, man, it's starting to get like kind of porny, right?
Everything always does.
It gets like
anything that's popular gets.
I'm gonna say corny because soon as so it gets kind of corny, right? And with the P and and I sat there and I was like, man, why? And then I thought, but they have this section where it's like legit, like there's a huge learning section. There's all this stuff to it. So it was one of those things that I really sat there and was like, you know what? This could turn into something that's actually legit. And the biggest key behind it is that I guess you can pay people in like real dollars, like, you know, kind of like what it is with OF, but it seems like it's more centered towards the learning side, or like a real like fan base system that is just, oh, I like Tom Selleck, he's rocking his
big butts and I cannot lie. Sorry, I led you into that one. Pedro, let's move on to Cardano right now.
All right,
let's
Cardano.
See what's going on with the Cardano.
All right, with the Cardano. So we talked about Cardano. We would have a little bit, but Cardano, by the way, that is a joke. I know it's Cardano.
It's a Jim Cramer reference for those of you who don't know.
Yeah, he. And the worst part is that will live in infamy.
See, just like that.
Infamy. It will live.
No different.
It's so hard to say.
Infinity. It will live in infamy.
There you go. It will live
infinity.
That's exactly what I'm trying to
Just like George Bush II, W has to live with the word strategery, even though he never said it. Will Ferrell said it on Saturday Night Live, and yet
he was attached to my.
Yet W never said it, but W did say his famous word is nuclear. I can't even do it like him. Most Americans would call it nuclear. He's like nuclear, and he got strategized. Oh, that was a good one. For you youngsters out there may not get this, but
listen, go back and learn some history. You will modern history. Go back 50 years and just look at the goofs and plays.
Just watch the good movies.
See. Yeah, I tell you, it's missing. All right, so let's go into this here real quick.
Cardano.
We talked about this. Yes.
Booming.
Yeah. Well, we talked about it because I said, all right, so if we stay above, I said we should get it going because we're playing off of this. We were moving here. I thought we were going to see again, because when this can be either or, and I get it. I'm a negative Nancy. I think the market is always going to go down. I'm not a perma bear. I'm a perma bull, but I always want to catch the bottom. You guys know I've caught the bottom on many things many a times, and I sound so arrogant. I don't mean it like that. But we've done it on our show so many times.
That's your focus of your trading. You look for reversals and you want the best entry, and that's essentially the bottom.
Yeah. Or like the short, the top, and then catch the bottom, right? Like, I just like that. And then we play it. I also like trends. But we were talking about, as I said, if we find support right here, okay, and if we really start to get going, and we saw, and I said we saw the sideways pattern. I thought we were going to come down to this level here, that 45 cents. But once, and we talked about, I said we're starting to show again right here support with the 8, and more importantly, I said these 2 days here in July. This is an important amount of volume. You're like, that doesn't make sense. And I said, well, here's the thing. This is the 1st of July, right up in this level here. And we went down, we put the seller wick in, or excuse me, the buyer wick in, that demand wick. We came down first, and then we're pushing up, and to come back and not get below the 8-period moving average, which is what I talked about with Bitcoin as well as Ethereum, right? And it was trying to, but we stayed above it. I said, this is important. And then to see the amount of volume start to pick up again right here, I said, it's going higher. I said, there's no way. We had the cross of the 8 and the 20, the 8 being the quicker time frame, indicating that we should see it go up, right, if it crosses that 20. And watching this play out, I said, expect it to go higher. And remember, we had a zone right here. There was a zone right here that we had put up.
Yep.
Or no, excuse. No, I'm sorry, right here. It was this one right here. Sorry about that. It was this one right here. And we and we hit it. We came back down. I said, but they're going to blow through this because they're already blowing through the 20 period moving average. So with that, yesterday I said we expected to continue higher once it gets above that 20 period moving average, and that's what we're doing. So if we close above this 200 period moving average, expect us to get up and go. Expect it. And you can already see that we're about to trade again above the average of the volume. The last few days, or last 5-6 trading days, you can see here that we've been above the average volume. And so this is where I'm expecting. If we get above here again, I want to see volume kind of up in basically about a little bit above, if not at the same length of yesterday's volume. That's really what I'm looking for, to sit there and see. And we also talked about on Monday here with Cardano, the amount of volume for Monday. Where is it? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Sorry. What was it?
Monday, Tuesday, happy days. Friday. Monday, Tuesday, happy days. Wednesday, Thursday.
It's all right.
Friday.
Come on, Fonz. Okay. All right. So this is why is that so hard for me? All right. So this, why is it jumping money? There we are. This was the day that we consolidated here, and we went sideways here, but we had a good amount of buyers stepping in. And all of a sudden, when I sat there, I said, okay, this is one of those things we should see it bounce from here and go up. And that's what we saw. So it's nice. This is really nice place here that we're watching, that it's like I'm really happy about. I really like it. We've talked about these things already, and they're really starting to come through. Now, it's really key here. This is what we want to see, is we want to see it get above here of this liquidity, but we want to see it come down. So at that 86-cent area, we're going to hit liquidity here, and we'll see something. We talked about this yesterday. So you get above here, come down, and then go back up to that dollar. If not, we could see it even push further into that $1.18, $1.17. But we will have some form of reaction here, but I don't think it's going to stop the market like per se. I think we're going to be reaching up to that 118. The 118 mark here has also been traded through right here already. So for me, we're going to have, so this is what it should look like. Boom, 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 and then get back right here up to that $1.60. This is what I'm expecting. Don't use that time frame, because I don't think we're going to use that. I don't think that time frame is going to be real. I think it's going to be much quicker than that. I think we're going to see kind of like this.
Well, as you can see from the chart, Cardano tends to move in bursts.
Give me 1 second. That's my
Sure.
son calling.
As you can see from Pedro's chart here, I'm going to bring this off here in a second. Cardano is always moved in bursts. I think it was Gene Simmons from Kiss. Wasn't he one of the ones that was one of the original investors in Cardano and believed in it? And he went, like, when the price was at almost nothing, he put $300,000 into it, and everyone thought, "Oh my God, you're insane." I think somewhere along the line he said he made more money on Cardano than he did in his whole history of Kiss, or some crazy hyperbole or superlative like that, which is outrageous. It's like Mr. Oboe player Kenny G. He's one of the original investors in Starbucks, and on a famous 60 Minutes interview, he said, "Yeah, I've made plenty of money in the music business, enough for many lifetimes." He said, "But I've made more money on my Starbucks investment than I did in all of my music career, and all I did was lend someone $100,000. That's how the rich get richer. Anyway, welcome to everyone out there. I've been waiting for a nice ad from...
All right, sorry about that. Can you hear me?
I can, Pedro.
All right, cool. I just had to take that real quick.
All right.
About that. He is growing, and he's actually making the initiative. He's making the initiative.
It's almost like he's Cardano. He's taking the initiative. He's growing. You see the mistakes of the past, learning from them, and now moving on up to the east side to a deluxe apartment in the sky.
In the sky. Moving on up to our viewers right there, singing with us. To the east side.
To a deluxe apartment. Up in the sky.
Up in the sky.
You gotta really know your 70s and 80s shows to be entertained on this.
I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you, Elizabeth.
What's the son's name? Lamont?
I forget, man.
Lamont?
He was great, dude. And he had, dude, his mustache was so real.
Epic stash.
Bro.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the historical figure now, Red Fox, one of the greatest comedians. He was
good.
An incredible African American comedian before even Richard Pryor was.
Yeah,
and
he was one of the.
I mean, those two guys. That's some of the best. Richard Pryor, he makes me laugh like Chappelle makes me laugh.
Dude, he's so good. And then when he looks at you with that,
in those eyeballs,
dude.
So one thing where it says someone tells him that he's black, and he goes, "I am," and he does the eyeballs like, "I didn't know." If you haven't seen Richard Pryor, he's just the best. Even when he did his funny movies and stuff. Anyway,
those are kiddish. I like his comedy more than his.
And he's this nice guy in public and does all those. He did Superman movies and other types of stuff. But that man is dirty too. He's got a potty mouth on him.
You watch his. He would definitely be canceled today.
No way. They're like, you go sit with Bill Cosby over there.
Thanks very much, dude. Anyways, all right, guys. We apologize. We just keep rambling on. So Cardano here, which is definitely dope. All right, I'm expecting it, and I showed you what I do expect, which was kind of a messed up thing. So let me write that a little bit better. So we should see it close above that. Get above right here. Play this. Kind of do this right here. And then kind of push up to here. Boom. And then kind of move forward there. Okay, and that messes all up. That just... Darn you. Okay, boom. Boom. It is so jacked up. Boom. And then kind of get up to there. So, again, this is the alt season. I'm letting you guys know. We've been talking about this. I said Bitcoin is really starting to show some strength here. And I think this is where people are really going to get going and start to really kind of put their money in, move things in and out. I think what's happening here as well is because now the institutions can get into Bitcoin. In the past, what would happen is you would see this money, right, go back and forth where people would put their money in Bitcoin or make money in alts, then put it in Bitcoin and diversify, right? And that happened a lot and so this is where we saw the accumulation of money, which was kind of cool. But the fact that we actually also have real institutions coming in, being able to play here, I don't think we're going to have such steep drops in Bitcoin per se, like during the bull runs, right? You know how because people would switch back and forth. And so I think that as we see a sell-off, I think institutions will get in, boom. But my key is, and this is what I don't know, is the bear market going to be 4 years or 3 to 4 years like we've had in the past, right? Or, excuse me as I cough in your sorry about that. It was real gross. If we're going to have that 4-year cycle, or are we going to see a Bitcoin maybe sell off 20-30%? Or is it going to really sell off to 70%, 80%? This is where, for me, I can't predict because we're in a different paradigm here and things are changing. Totally. So I hope we do. I think it is intrinsic, the bear market, right? I think that truly is intrinsic the way it's designed. But ultimately, I don't think crypto fundamentally has changed. But because I don't think the institutions will let it sell off 70% if it gets to 250, 300. And so I hope it does. And the reason why I say I hope it does, because this is where millionaires are made, right? This is where you and I, the common person, can get in on an asset that is really low And then over a period of 4 to 8 years, you can see it quadruple, if not a 10x, right? And if you think about that, all you really need is I hate to say, 3 10x's, right? And so and you're like to be a multi-millionaire by putting in just a couple
when you
couple
think
thousand.
about it like that. I know.
Yeah, I mean, like 10x. You put 1,000. Let's just say you put 1,000. That turns to 10,000, and then that 10,000 turns to 100,000. 100,000 can do you really well by earning interest off of that, through staking rewards, through other type of rewards based out there where you can get 5 to 10%. And you're like, Pedro, that's only $5,000 to $10,000. That's $100 a week that you can diversify into other things, right? That's $400 a month that you can diversify into other things, or keep it in that asset that you like. And this is when
Go ahead. No, go.
and this is when you have the ability really to start scaling. You don't necessarily need to put your money in, but when you do put your money in, it literally doubles your effect now, right? Because you have the money making money for you, and that $5,000 to $10,000 mark is all of a sudden when you start to get that snowball really going. And so that's what I wanted to say there.
Well, I was listening to one trader talking about how it took him a while to get $10 million in net worth for not just his trading account, but he traded for a long time, built up, bought houses, invested in real estate, has small business here and there, that kind of stuff. And he said, I have about, 10. He said, I'm planning on going through 2 more 10x cycles. And he said, so my goal is $1 billion. And he said, I have 10 million now. One more at the end of this cycle. He said, I'm going to have 10x that. He said, not just all in trading. He said, but I take what I earn in trading, leaves a lot of it in trading, but take some of it out, invest in real estate and other investments. And he said, in the next cycle, he said in about 10 years from now, he said the plan is to be at $1 billion. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, that is a plan. I mean,
yep.
That's like when you're cruising down in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and you see those giant houses on those man-made peninsulas in the intercoastal, and you're like, man, who can afford those houses? And you're like, that guy, because Hitman had a plan. Well, not only to have a plan, that they happen to execute it correctly. Many people have plans, but don't execute them correctly. I had a plan to win the lottery last night. Guess what? I executed the plan well. However, the results were not as I expected. I really did think I was going to win. I thought my $5 was going to turn into 90 million last night. Just like investing in shit but in you.
Or unicorn part does. Speaking of memes, let's go over some memes here real quick.
Hold on. No, wait. Before we go into memes, we got to talk. I'm going to give you the gist of the topic of the show today. I interrupt Pedro and his great information only because it is, first of all, I have to have something to say. But it is Crypto Week, ladies and gentlemen. And Crypto Week, as declared by the U.S. Congress, actually the U.S. House of Representatives, and specifically the House Financial Services Committee, has declared this Crypto Week, and so has the President. The President was talking about it today, and why you saw the market kind of, while he was talking, kind of didn't do much. And there's 3 things going on this week. Hopefully, by the end of the week, we'll have voted on the Genius Act, Clarity Act, and the Anti-State Surveillance Act. And yesterday we talked about the Clarity Act and how that is going to separate regulating digital assets between the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, and the SEC. Really good thing. And today we're going to give 5 minutes to the Genius Act. And you've heard our partner show here, the Crypto Swamp Creatures, talk about this too. They did, Chris and Justin. But the Genius Act, and then this is where I'm sure they use AI to come up with these names now, but Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for U.S. Stablecoins Act, is a bipartisan piece of legislation aimed at creating a framework for payment stablecoins. Now, stablecoins exist and do exist without any regulation at all, because, to be honest, you don't need it. You can say this cup is worth $1, and I'll trade you 1 million of these cups. It's always worth $1, and I'll buy them and sell them for $1. And the problem is that someday I might not have all of the dollars behind it. And suddenly, this cup is not worth $1 when you think it is. So the government wants to essentially protect the consumer, but also protect the U.S. dollar by setting some guidelines, meaning that you have to have reserves, and you have to be, essentially, they're saying to trade within the American jurisdiction, you have to be permitted. In other words, you have to get the stamp of approval from the U.S. Treasury. I think that's who it is. It's going to be approving him. And you have to do certain things, of which is beyond it. But Pedro and I have been talking about this for a while. It's going to allow stablecoins to be formally used, held, and traded by any financial institution in the jurisdiction of the United States. And Pedro, you and I have talked about this a lot recently. What is important about it being completely and absolutely legal for all financial institutions in the U.S. and safe, since it's has reserves? What's important about that? What's going to happen?
A lot.
A lot. I'll paraphrase a lot for Pedro. What's going to happen? You know, I always throw you a question I don't actually intend for you to answer.
Yeah, go ahead. A lot, exactly. Go.
A lot's going to happen in which any financial institution or fintech, chartered bank, whatever, or company that has enough reserves will be able to issue a stablecoin. Not only that, but all the that's one thing. Like Walmart issuing a stablecoin and the potential trading opportunities. You know, arbitraging Walmart versus Canadian Tire and this type of stuff. Kind of like people do with stock markets of companies in similar verticals. They arbitrage the different prices between the two. So that'll be interesting. But what'll be more interesting is that the essential payment methods will, I'm guessing, Pedro, it's my guess that almost all international payments will click quickly. I don't care what you say about Ripple and all that stuff. They're just going to quickly revert to people paying in USDT and USDC for two reasons. One, they're first. Two, they say US in front of it. And new people coming on are not going to, if they have a choice, say, oh, you can pay in a stable coin. Which one? US, such and such? Or RL, XRP, zippity doodah? They'll be like, oh, I'll take the US one, right? Now, I was reading an interesting article about, brand recognition and things like that. And that I had just 5 seconds earlier read an article about stablecoins. And I thought, wait, brand recognition is going to be important here too. And so we're going to see Tether dominance continue. We're going to see USDC grow like crazy because I'm betting the US, like Wall Street, will focus on USDC rather than Tether because it's a US domiciled corporation. Can get proper US insurance, all that satisfies all the check marks and that type of stuff. So all of the payments and all these people that said crypto's a scam and digital assets are crap and the US dollar is just fine, all of a sudden they're going to be sitting around. They're going to be the last ones holding penny orders. And even, they're going to say, oh, well, I still send wire transfers and ACH clearing things. And you're like, oh, really? How long did that ACH take to settle? Oh, you sent it on Friday? You got it on when? Now, I fully realize FedWire's out there. FedWire now is a payment rail system the Fed has. That works 24/7. Banks can send $1 trillion back and forth easily and that type of stuff through the Fed. And I get that works. Not everybody out there is a big bank moving $100 million. There's lots of businesses that move money between divisions. There's lots of businesses that pay people all over the world. And they used to have to employ all sorts of companies to do this. They would just pay a company in Kenya to do everything they needed to do, payroll, HR, all this type of stuff. And then money would be wired and all this kind of stuff. All that stuff now is instant. Boop! Sent the money. And now that those companies can officially, assuming this bill passes, officially do it, it's going to become a massive thing. So the Genius Act, setting the groundwork for that. is going to change everything. It's in, let me find out where it is. The Genius Act has not yet been passed by the House. It was bundled with two other crypto-related bills, the Clarity Act and the Anti-CBDC State Surveillance Act. In the package dubbed Crypto Week, a procedural vote on the rule to debate these bills actually failed, largely due to a revolt by a dozen House Republicans demanding stronger anti-CBDC language and concerned about regulatory overreach.
There you go.
And
that's
so Okay, well, let me finish the sentence. I didn't realize that they had bundled the three bills into one vote. So we'll see where that goes. But if they, I'm sure eventually they'll give in and say, okay, stronger anti-CBDC language, because it doesn't matter if a new administration comes in. If Elizabeth Warren runs for president and wins, she can just get and the Congress is on her side. They can just pass the law saying they changed that. So I see the Congress giving into that and having stronger language. So a new vote on the procedural bill is scheduled right now, as a matter of fact. So,
that would be the downfall of America. Literally. I
know, because then politicians would control your money. We can do a week's worth of shows on if the government is allowed to control your money. It would be horrible. And everybody says, well, the government already controls all the money. No, they really don't. They set how much of it is out there. It's expansion, it's contraction of the supply, but they don't tell you. Well, there's plenty of laws saying how and where you can spend your money, but imagine them just saying, no, you can't spend your money. You can't use it to buy things that are bad for you, cigarettes, guns, all this type of stuff. Although I'd argue that guns are good for you. Brando Commando, welcome to the house. Brando says XRP. Pedro's going to spend some time going over some meme coins now, and
I'll go over XRP.
And I'm sure it'll hit Ripple too.
Yeah, I want you to do me a favor though, Brando. I love having you, man. I think you rock the mic. Can you just do us a favor and share us, right? Share us on your whatever platform, whether it's X or whatever, and then just click on it. And when you click on it, take the link and drag it to an incognito window. That would help me and Tom out with our show and really kind of push things out. So if you could do that for me, man, I would really, really appreciate that. That would be a big blessing for us. And if you could do that every time you pop in, man, that does, even if you want to create some, alt account that you mess with, that helps us. Just simply because we're trying to build that shit. We're trying to build this show. And we need you guys as our community to kind of help out when it comes to that, especially on Rumble. I really like Rumble because Rumble's idea of decentralization of information and a freedom to be able to disseminate that regardless of America. Instead of the idea that information should be crafted in a way that's pleasing for the ear and not scare the masses and rock them slowly to sleep where they can go into death quickly, right? Like that's what I feel like is really happening with mainstream media. And that's one thing I love about Rumble is I do allow you to just say things that may be contrary to the mainstream ideology, but allows us to be able to really talk out real thoughts and politics that need to be talked about. And so that's why we're really kind of trying to build on Rumble here, and that's why I really like them a lot. I really do. And I'm not trying to like shine them or whatever. I like how their system. I was actually flipping through some of their stuff, and they actually are going to be trying to incorporate crypto and a few other things here that I think need to happen. Like I think if they could do that, I think they should start a coin for themselves. Simply because
Agreed.
I would love to be able to sit there and like buy that coin and send it to other great small artists, right? Like imagine going through like there's a music scene on here as well, and so like helping small artists say, here you go, man, here's some rumbles. Oops. Right? Or call it the Bumble, not Bumble, that's bad, sorry. Mumble. I think even mumble because a lot of times we're just all mumbling around, but I think it's really important though that I just like what they're doing. I think they need to create a coin. I think it should be staked. I think that would be dope to do, excuse me, not staked, but mined. That would be cool. Have a mined Rumble coin. I think that would be really good. Thank you. Really appreciate that, Brando. Let's go ahead before I jump right into the meme coins and have fun here. I also want to add here real quick, and as well as XRP. Look, Tom, I want to bring this up because again, Republicans are doing this BS that the Democrats were doing during the Biden administration, and it's pissing me off. Okay, like they're bundling these major bills that should not be bundled to get through. You need to walk out. Again, I'm not one side or the other. I'm a libertarian in how I look at the market. And if you're going to pass laws, don't sneakily try to pass it through without us really being able to read it. Don't create a $1,500 page or 1,500 page law, and you're gonna now you give Congress only literally a day to read it. Like, that's bull. That's a BS, and it needs to stop, whether you're Republican or Democrat. Like,
Democrats did it here in Chicago, and they screwed the city for 100 years.
It needs to stop. It needs to stop. And they need to sit there and honor literally the people in whom they serve. And the best way you could do that is, like, when a girl says stop, you stop. Americans are asking Congress to stop. They're trying to ram things in, and we want to see the stuff, but we don't want to see it pass when it's full of crap. And so I just want to sit there and say that a lot of different views on the Genius Act, the Surveillance Act, and it's really interesting to see these different views really go back and forth. And I love the arguing. I love how they're sitting there going back and forth. So just, I wish that Congress would stop this. And if you reach out to your congressman and simply just say, will you stop this BS? Reach out to your senator and say, stop this BS and slow down. Like, us as the American people want to know what's happening. And especially, like, I go to the gym a lot, and I go and I sit in the sauna, and there's a lot of 20 plus year olds now that are literally talking about, and this is shocking because this don't happen, right? The U.S. debt, politics, right? And the big beautiful bill, and some of it's pork. And I said, and I remember sitting there saying, I said, this has been happening since, I mean, Bush, when Bush pushed the Patriot Act, like, that gave away the majority of your rights away. Like, this was a huge deal, right? You gave up the right to be able to not take off your shoes. You gave up your right not to be frisked by TSA, right? Like, like, hey, you know, like.
Did you see TSA finally is relenting on that shoe thing altogether?
Yeah.
They're like, well, that was a 20-year failure.
Like, legit, like, real, right? But what I'm saying though is this: is that it's finally being talked about, and I don't want it being rammed. And I believe the American people are literally saying stop. And this generation, meaning Generation Alpha and Y, realize we're the ones on the hook here. Like, we're the ones. Like, and so I said, yeah, you are. I go, I have enough assets to be, if the market inflates, I'm going to be okay, because assets inflate higher than inflation. That's the point of assets. Y'all don't have assets.
The answer is hopefully they go up faster than inflation.
But
not always is that the case.
You're right.
Pedro,
you're right.
I'm a little distracted. In my ear, I'm listening to Representative Jason Smith from Missouri talk about the various bills that are on right now, and talking about the Freedom Caucus delaying it, wanting stronger anti-CBDC protection. And on this, that's weird. Where did it go here? Why didn't it remember that?
It's okay. It's all right. We can come back to that in a second. Let me go over XRP here real quick, so Mr. Brando Commando can see what's going on. All right. So we talked about yesterday. I wanted to see us close above green with XRP, right? Now, granted, I do not like XRP. Just so you know, I'm not an XRP army guy. I mean, I've literally during what was it, the conference we went to where me and you first met? I'm forgetting what it's called.
Blockchain futurist?
Yeah, blockchain futures. And you had Oscar Ramos, you had Zach Humphreys, you had a few of these other guys talking about XRP, saying it's a development, what it's doing. And I jumped down and I said, I don't agree with XRP. And I don't understand why everybody here in DeFi is okay with what they're trying to do with CBDCs and how they're literally, I feel like, trying to enslave the rest of the world, kind of like bringing back things the way it's supposed, the way things have always been, at least with the central exchange views of the world. And all they're trying to do is bring central exchange or a centralization to crypto, which I very much believe in decentralization and self-custody, right? And true freedom when it comes to money, right? Let adults be adults. We're not children. And the idea is that I don't like about XRP. And I remember being in that conference, being on that stage, saying, I disagree with what they're doing. I don't like XRP. And they need to change the business model, because I think sooner or later, crypto natives, as well as other major people within the country, as well as the world, will fight against what they're doing. And so it is an inefficient model that is built on the fiat system. Okay, now enough of my rants. I'm done there. Let me tell you where the price is probably going to go.
Just quickly a note, my system is showing Ripple or XRP to be exactly at $3.
Yeah, yep. I have it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm going to shut up. Let you do Ripple. But the guy in the box on the screen, the other guy in the box, is talking about how the U.S. government has brought in billions, more than $100 billion in tariffs, and $27 billion in June alone, or something crazy.
Are you serious?
I know, that's a lot. Lots of cash monies.
Yeah, it's like one day of our debt being
right. One day, exactly. All right, on to Ripple.
Right. Sorry,
Brando Commando. This section's for you.
All right, brother. All right. So, and listen, all you guys who are listening to us, all 24 of you, which we appreciate, Brando Commando jumped in and asked me literally to go over some stuff. And that's what I'm gonna do. I want to encourage every one of you 24 that are just watching us, log in. You don't need to pay for a premium, and just go through and just type, hey, we want to see this, we want to see that, and I want to give you guys that value. Okay, so when it comes down to XRP, I've already said this at the beginning of the year. I expect to see a $9 XRP. I hate it. I don't like it, but I understand the way the market mechanisms work. I can sit there and say something will be positive, even though I may not like something. Okay, so I'm sorry, Brando. My bad. All right, so you can see here that we're coming up into this level. I said I wanted to see it close green, right? Because that would really mean a strong positive movement. But it's still closed in a way that I see a big old demand wick come in. You can see here that yesterday, as it sold off, we saw a lot of buyers step in, and we saw multiple times where it went up and down, as you can see here, where they were building this position. And in this position, you can see there were a lot, as it was selling off, we saw a lot of demand wicks here. Right, like look at demand wick, as it was demand wick, some demand wicks. If you go to the hour chart, you can see here on the hour chart, it's very much the same thing during this consolidation period. Look, demand wick. So there are people definitely buying this. Even on the sell-off earlier this morning, you can see they came in, found support on that 8, and they're finding support. And so the people are buying this. Now, we are seeing a drop off in volume when you look at the daily chart here. You can see how we're seeing a drop off here. But again, it could be that it's getting ready to go all-time high. And I always say when it gets close to the all-time highs, we see a pullback. So it typically can do this right here and then come back down, find support again on that 8, and then see it most likely push back up, okay? And that's what I do expect when it comes to XRP. Oh, what did Brando say? Thanks, but I was just saying XRP because I know Pedro. Yo, sorry, that is so funny, dude. Dude, that's so good, dude. Oh man, that was great.
That is an epic troll.
Sorry, dude, that's got me dying over here. All right, that was so good.
Simply an epic troll.
Epic. You got me riled up because I know Pedro don't like it. Oh, yeah. Just, ooh.
Well, Pedro,
Okay,
this is a good time for a transition.
Yeah.
You know what that transition time is for? I think I need some coffee.
Oh, yes. Talk to me, Goose.
Exactly. Talk to me, Goose. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're a frequent watcher of this show and you still haven't tried 1775 coffee, now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. Only 1,000 units. That's right. It's scarce, just like Bitcoin. You're getting the bold, dark roast that hits harder than a CN fact check. You're getting a smooth, medium roast, and you're getting a Vitality Mushroom Coffee. That's three different ones for a clean energy and laser focus. No crash at all. Nope. You're getting all single origin, small batch, toxin-free, and mold-free. Plus, you're also getting, my favorite, a gold spoon. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. That's right. Although I would hasten to say, I'm sure it's not actual gold. It's a gold color. You're also getting a black 1775 tumbler that says, I don't take life advice from a woke sea witch. Nope, I don't even have to read this anymore. This is $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for $99. This is for the ones that have been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler, it is. Go to 1775coffee/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something just like Rumble does. Start your day with coffee that actually backs what you believe. $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble. So go to 1775coffee/studio, grab your starter kit. Remember, there's a QR code here on the screen right here. Click it. Let our advertisers know our audience is interactive and wants to interact and wants to buy stuff and will fall victim to advertising. No, but seriously, 1775 has been good to us to support our segments of our show by their advertising for us. So I think all of our viewers should visit them, read up what they have to say on their website, and potentially even get it. I'm going to get some. I'm hoping they send me some, and I'll put a product placement here for them if they would like.
Absolutely.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, 1775coffee.com/studio, or click the links in your comment screen right now.
Absolutely. If you guys could do us a quick favor as well, as by doing that, if you guys click that little link there, one of the things that's nice about it as well is if you do buy something, say something. I think you can make a little comment on it. So, we heard about you on DYOR Media Network, and we're buying it on support of them. But I hear that it's good coffee. So I'm trying to stay away from coffee and just mess with kind of like caffeine itself, right? But just because it's good for your brain, it's good for your body, it helps you kind of lose weight and kind of gets you up and moving, especially when you
Coffee gets me to lose weight about 10:30 a.m. every day.
How about 3 to 4 pounds, man? 3 to 4 pounds.
Mrs. Striking and I follow this Instagram couple, and they're very wealthy now. We've seen them progress from having a little condo to a nice house to a really nice house, and getting paid for trips and all this kind of stuff, and as influencers. And they literally just started their whole Instagram thing by making coffee and poop jokes. That was it. When they were their first apartment, they had one bathroom, and so it was like,
chill in the bathroom.
Who, they both have coffee at the same time. Who gets to use the bathroom first? And
that's awesome.
And you're like, of course they're funny. They're poop jokes. Guys love poop jokes. But they took it to international stardom. Unbelievable. And now they don't need to do those. Now they do other funny things. But anyway, Pedro, we've rambled on long enough. I know you have a list of meme coins you want to talk about.
I do.
Let's hit them up.
I do. All right. All right, guys. So we've talked. Now we're going all the way back. I think I talked about Slimer.
Slimer.
Here. Slimer. Yes. Slimer. When Slimer first got started, I heard about it on what's his name? I forget the guy's name. He's basically the head guy behind
Shiba?
the Shiba Inu. Yeah, the Shiba Inu guy. And nice guy, really nice guy. He's got a Facebook group, and he's the main he's the main marketer guy. He's the one who pitched the idea of sending Shiba to Buterin. He also pitched some of the other things, and and it just took off with his idea. So obviously he's doing very well for himself. So in that same group, he pitched Slimer, and we're starting to watch Slimer pick up here. It got up to a peak of 5,000, or excuse me, 5 million, and right now we're sitting about that 480,000 market cap right now. And I like this, and we're seeing the volume really not bigly, but we're seeing that consistent amount of volume step in right here. As you can see, as we're starting to pick up, we're above the 8-period moving average. We're above all the moving averages altogether. And so when you look at even our higher time frame, monthly, weekly, and daily, we have a clear sky for it to get moving higher. And additionally to that, when you look at the daily zones, there really isn't anything until we get all the way up to this level here, which is sitting around that 1.5 million. So we're talking an easily 3x here, I think, quickly, especially when it comes to Slimer. I like it right here, just simply because it's finally got above all of them, or all the moving averages, and it shows us pretty clear that we've got a pretty good move up. Besides this level here, there's really nothing here that can get in its way to keep continuing all the way up here. And this is on every single higher time frame chart. And so for me, now obviously you're going to have pullbacks, but this looks like a good play. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is I believe you can trade Slimer on Mexi. Again, if you're an American, you're not allowed to. That's against the rules. But if you're in another place, in another world, or excuse me, in another country, or I guess if you know how to use VPN, I don't know, but that's against the law, so don't do that. Again, this is all.
It's not against the law to use a VPN.
You're right. You're right. It's not a law. It's not against the law to use a VPN to trade a exchange that we can't do.
Let's see, Slimer.
Slimer.
I don't. Maybe it's available on the on their spot market. It's not a future perpetual market.
They didn't create it. That sucks, because you could really catch some heat up to here. And so so this is the one that I'm kind of looking for. Throw this out to their community. I like how they've just been consistent. They came all the way down to $53,000, bro, around this level, 53 to 58,000, and they just battled their way back up, and you can see it. So it's pretty epic, what we're seeing. When it comes down to the other one I wanted to check out here, was it 47? No, we've got a few other ones, but this was yeah, this one was a trip. This was the killer one. Not the killer, but this was the guy who basically shot the CEO for United Health. That's one of the things I thought. Yeah, this was boom. All right, so let's watch. Let's go to defend, depose.
Oh, right.
Oh, I forget the other one.
Yeah.
But that was a real deal. That spoke to a lot of people what happened there. And I thought what was really interesting is that people got upset, and about what was happening in the insurance agents in the insurance world. And that's what you saw people respond to, and I thought was just really interesting.
And I obviously don't like it and all that, but the people, and obviously the act of I'm not going to use the guy's name, of what he did is absolutely wrong. That's not how you solve society problems. And I get that people are upset, but the people that support that,
Yeah.
That's the troubling part.
There are a lot.
There are a lot of people that do, and they're the same people that dress up in all black and burn down federal buildings. And so that whole undercurrent of people that support that are a big problem. It's like that guy in Seattle or wherever he was out there, who was the professor of ethics at the University of whatever, teaching people about morality and ethics. And he was one of those idiots in black, and had his heavy chains, and one of those things hit the guy on a bare head with a heavy chain, and gave him brain damage. And he's the professor of morality and ethics at this university. And those are the same people that are like, well, healthcare people are evil. I mean, he didn't. The dude that got off didn't start the system. Didn't really do anything except take over his company 6 years ago. He's the representative head of it, so he draws the ire or whatever you want to say of all the people. But he's no more at fault for this system than our economy and social and cultural group that allows it to happen that way. I mean, that's like a week's worth of show in itself. But anyway, the fact that every news-driven event, there's a meme going. And how's this one doing, Pedro? You're on mute.
Let's talk about Cyan here, and we can go ahead and so we got above this weekly 50.
Cyan?
From last, Cyan, like Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
Cyan. Yeah, and so we talked about this. I said I expected potentially for it to pull back, but it caught some wings this week, and especially yesterday, or especially today, we broke out of this pattern here, and we're seeing some good volume come in, as you can see right here. And so this is another thing that I'm looking at going, all right, this is again another sign as the broad market is moving up. We're also seeing meme coins pop up, and this thing went from 5 cents to 6 cents, which basically is about 20% in a day. And when we start to see 20, 30, 50, 70% movements in these smaller coins, this is a sign that we're seeing things really getting going in this micro coin. Bills advanced.
Brando Commando's reporting that the various crypto bills have advanced. What they were back in the House Financial Services Committee, and they needed a procedural vote to move them to debate. And they had been previously failing the procedural vote because of the Freedom Caucus. And apparently, while I'm an American and astute about civics and all that, and I understand how our Congress works very well, the minutia of the rules and procedures of getting to the final vote is a little bit beyond me. So I don't know if it's proceeding to an actual vote or if it's proceeding to just open up debate now. We shall see. Although I am guessing Brando is about to tell us.
Yeah, talk to us, dog. Talk to us. Why are you holding the, puff, give, dog? Come on.
All right, we got Sand on the great graphics machine here. It's part of the SEI or SEI or whatever group. And it's now at a respectable $5.3 million market cap. But noting it has $690,000 in daily volume. So that's for a small little coin, token, whatever you want to call. It's good.
Attention.
Although it seems like someone's got some fat bags. Every time that there's a pump, they sell it. And that's it. That's an indicator to me bad things are going to happen.
I disagree with that. And the reason why is, look, we're staying above the 50 period moving average. And every time, we just got above the 50 period moving average. And what was really hitting us was the sellers, because this is being traded, I think this is being traded by institutions. So it's being traded by algorithms. And
I think it's one guy.
I think you're wrong, but it's okay.
It's okay. I think you're wrong too, but it's okay.
It's okay, yes. Now, this 8 period, but just remember, when it comes to charts, typically I'm not going to argue this.
No, I agree with you. Typically, you're right. But my experience with these big candles on these very small meme coins usually is a fat wallet, because there's in the degen era, there's a thing in which people say, I sell the volume so it doesn't hurt the chart. And that's what creates all these giant things. And then I am biased, and because I've watched 4 years of degen tokens do this, because somebody has
But
10% of the supply.
but this is important to understand. You've also spent 4 years in a bear market. Did you go through the bull market last year, or the last bear run, or the last
No,
bull
not
run?
properly. Nope,
Okay,
not at
so
all.
let me explain this. I've gone back and I have studied those charts and I've looked at Shiba Inu. This is what I want to talk about, like Shiba Inu and a lot of these other things. So when you look at the previous bull run, okay, this is really important. You can see how the correlation, when you start to see the alts run and you start to see Bitcoin run, you then start to see a huge increase. This is why a few weeks ago, I really brought up the meme coins and we brought up a lot of those small looking, not small looking, forgive me, small cap blockchains, because those blockchains, we're seeing an increase in volume there. And that's important to sit there and pay attention. And the potential movement of a bull market, not a bear market, but a bull market, which is, remember I talked about bid ask or ask bid. Bid is when you want to buy, ask is when I'm asking to sell this for this price up here. Okay. And in the algorithm sense, when you're in a bull run, instead of it being, or in a bear run, it's better to sit there and say is what we've experienced this first time around. It is an ask bid, meaning I want to sell this first and then buy it lower. Sell it first, buy it lower. But in a bull run, it is a bid ask, and you see it go higher. So it's bid ask, bid
Open,
ask.
low, high, close.
Exactly. And all of a sudden now you're seeing increasing in volume, seeing increase in the form of its movement. This is really important. So when I see a sell-off, I'm looking to buy. We're getting above the 50 period moving average on the weekly. If we close above this 8 or this 50 period moving average with this amount of volume on the weekly and us surpassing the previous red candle here, you see this red candle? And you see this amount of sellers here,
Yep.
right? And you see how last week we closed green. We closed green above its open, and then we saw almost exact amount of volume, which shows that there are definitely buyers. And typically if we're going to see that happen, and this person right here got rid of their bag. This person here got rid of their bag. But look, every time people are trying to get rid of their bags, somebody is buying here. And yes, I understand that this is literally a $5 million coin. I get it. I think, what is it? 5.5 or $5.4 million coin. I get it. But this is a good example of what and how it works. This is when all of a sudden you start to see these small caps start to get wings because somebody else is looking for, is it closing above? Like one of the things you can do is go say, what coin is close above the weekly 50 period moving average with volume higher than average, 10% higher than volume, 20%. When this happens, then you're going to see people step in and go, this is small cap. I can push this easily with a capital of 20,000 or not 20, but like 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 and get a 30, 40x, get a 50x. Because it's going to go on trending and all of a sudden you get real money where then they can cash out, this gets going and boom, it's all over again. You would just keep seeing this flowing money from backwards and forwards. And so that's what I look for, an increase of volume above. And we talked about how it would find support on that 8 on the weekly and then see it continue up. So this was really nice about Cyan. Check about Pokey. Pokey was really interesting because Pokey itself, you can see volume already starting to pick up here. You can see here, starting to get going. We got above that 200 period moving average here. And so with that said, I'm expecting to see this do what? Continue higher. I expected to get to that 27 cents for Pokey, right? Because we finally got above that 8. Why do I just keep saying Pokey?
I know, I'm looking through the list like, I don't have this thing in my list. I'm like,
yeah, I'm sorry, Ponky. And I meant Ponky, dude. I think Dave would get mad at me. He'd be like, dude, it's Ponky. He's really into, I believe, Ponky here as well. So you can see here, that we're playing nice. Ponky's playing nice. We came down, found support here. I thought we might go lower, but we didn't. And look, it's starting to find some real support here. We're starting to get up above. When you look at the higher time frames, we still have that daily 8, or excuse me, that monthly 8, but it's looking like it's going to push through. If you see, we're halfway through the month, and you can already see that we're probably about 60% of the volume from last month here. And so this should, I think we're going to clear this because we saw it come down first. I thought we might see it come down further, but we didn't. So we're still kind of waiting to see the close above the 20, or excuse me, the 8 period moving average on the monthly for Ponky. But if this thing closes above that 8, the next level is literally the 24-cent area, and right now it's in at 16 cents. That would be the first place it hit, but we should blow through that 50 period weekly moving average here. Remember we talked about that? Closing above the weekly 50 period moving average. This is what I would expect to sit there and expect to see some type of pullback here at that 50. Right here is your supply area here for weekly. But even this, we'll see a pullback and then see it get up and go even to the potential 60 to 80 cents next mark. You would see something like this, boom, and pull back up. Now, Ponky, what is Ponky's? Oh yeah, that was about $100 million. So it's already starting to get going, and I think we could see it easily potentially get back to a couple $1 billion here within a couple months. So this is where I'm kind of expecting it should eclipse the peak here, simply because when you look at your distribution here of buyers, you can see here that it's just been consolidating here with an okay amount of volume here. So it's not overly, people who are going to get in here at these at a higher levels will want to see it continue high. So that's why I'm expecting this to eclipse. We didn't see a huge amount of buyers at these lower levels, but we are seeing an increase in buyers, right? Now look at this right here compared to this, right? This person here will probably want to, I mean, at least a 10x, right? And that's going to be about 250 mil right here. That's this level here, right? At these buyers, right? At these levels. So I'd expect it to get up here and then pull back and then continue higher. And so its high is, I think it's 600 mil. This thing could see $1 billion if it really catches wings here. Peanut, I thought was really interesting. When you look at Peanut, it's very similar as well. You can already see the volume starting to step in again and starting to get going. Even with the volume at this level, whoever these people here that bought, you can see that they really didn't buy more, or they just consolidated. And so these are new buyers stepping in. These are new buyers. We're seeing new buyers starting to step in. You can see it get up and go. Again, it got through the 200 period moving average, which is huge. We talk about that. It getting above that 200 period moving average and showing strength. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing strength on the weekly chart. We're about halfway through the week, as you can see, and we're about halfway through the volume. So if this thing increases in volume or stays about the same amount, it's going to show bullish sentiment for anybody who's looking to take part in this. And again, at 300 million, right, it could very much get back up to that 600 mil easily, which you could double your cash. But after that, kind of the sky's the limit here. I mean, you do have that 1.5 billion that could potentially mess with you on Peanut. But apart from that, man, this thing is showing a lot of strength there. And that's what I'm expecting it to get going here. My biggest thing is this, is that if you want to play this on a futures, right? Because I know that this, again, was one of those coins that we did see some stuff happen with it. Our only issue is the monthly 8, or excuse me, not the monthly 8. Yes, the monthly 8. But it's not our issue. It's just that, is this going to hold back price? And if you look at the daily, it's not looking like it is. It's looking like it's going to continue up. So that's why I'm thinking we're going to blow through that monthly 8 there and continue up for Peanut. Now, when it comes to Flog was another one that I thought was really, as I was cruising through, we're still kind of playing with that 50 period moving average. But when you look, you can see right here we're finding support on that 8. Look at that 8. Look how it touched it and went back up, and now we're continuing up. And this was in Tuesday. So I sat there and I was like, that is these small nuances, subtleties show buyers stepping in. We saw yesterday it tried to sell off of that 50, and then we blew through that 50. So that small nuance right here shows me that if it sells off, there's real buyers here on FWOG. Right now, is an excessive amount? Not really. But if this thing starts to get wings again, and we start to see the market really get going, money's going to flow into it because it got above the 50 period moving average on the daily. Okay, we want to see it get going. If we do, and we see it get going above the weekly 8 and 20, and we see it close up at these higher 55 million, potentially 70 million area at this resistance zone here, then I would expect us to sit there. Come on, there we are. At 50, 60 mil, right? It might act as some resistance, but after that, it's kind of a clean shot up to that 50 weekly, right? But it's got to get above this level. So I'm paying attention to the FWOG area, or FWOG's chart here, because again, seeing it tap that 50 period or that 8 period moving average as it was selling off is a good sign, saying that, look, there's some buyers stepping in. People tried to sell off on y'all, and y'all rejected them like Mike Tyson when it came to him trying to bite Jake's ear. Sorry. Shout out to Mike Tyson. If ever he's ever listening to us, thank you. Love it if you guys can mention our show, though. If any of you big guys are watching my show or watching our show, I would appreciate if y'all could shout us out.
And that would, we would all appreciate that.
Really would. That would make things better for me and Tom. So, and I know there are a few people, because I purposely said some things about some coins that weren't 100% 100, and I wanted to see if the person, because I knew the person was following it, and the person mentioned what I said, and I go, yeah, you're literally watching me, and you're not shouting me out.
I've watched other people, other shows in which they've never spoken about anything that you've brought up. They've never mentioned it at all, and then all of a sudden, like a week after you start talking about something, they start talking about it, like
yes.
Do I have like another browser window open playing Pedro over here or something?
It's actually kind of upsetting. This is why I think, because here's the thing, I want to generate some money on this. I mean, granted, I do generate money through trading and other things, but like this is, I hate, like I want it. So help a brother out, man. Throw my name out there. A couple of you guys, please, and I'd appreciate it.
Brother out.
Help a what do they call that? Cis male? Wait.
No. We'll be further demonetized. Actually, Rumble will send us in the tank if we talk about that.
You know what? It's all right. Let's move forward. Okay. Enough with me being goofy. All right. So Chill Guy. Chill Guy is another one here that we're still playing on that monthly 8. But if we go to the daily, you can see here that it's finding support on that 8. Now, is not as good, but we're finding support here, and you can see it's about to break out. And look, what's cool about Chill Guy is that it broke through the 200 period moving average, and it's finding support on the 8. And so are we going to see a parabolic move? We might. Okay, but we've got to get above that monthly 8. We get above that monthly 8, boom, boom, boom. That's what's up. One of the guys I also want to bring up, and I follow him on X. I forget his name. I am going to, because I never really pay attention to him. I have it just saved on my search here, but I'm going to mention him because I actually get a lot of my meme coins. I look at people who are just throwing out meme coins, and and they throw out a lot. Right. And so I'll go through and check out the charts that they throw. And I'm like, no, I'll put that for safer later. Right. Like, I won't bring that up. But the ones that I'm like, ooh, this is good. Like this is really good. I will. I look at it, and so I myself, and I'm the one saying, yo, shout me out, but I'm not shouting out the people that I'm actually following as well. So forgive me for that. And I do mention a lot of them in my X posts, right? When I do it, I say, hey, so and so, thanks, right? Check us out. One of the guys I do like is Lecky. His at is LECHY_SOL,
What was
right?
that? LE.
CKY
Yeah.
_SOL. He just he gives good information, and he's actually kind of funny. But he talks about like blockchain. He talks about a lot of meme coins, news, and so. But some of the stuff that he does, he'll give like meme coins. I check him out. Where's the another one here? I can't. Where is he? Is it this guy? Nope. Also shout out to Shogun. Shogun will post stuff and I'll go check it out. And if I like it, then I'm like, ooh, this is nice. Um, oh, that's what it is. Is that fit? Let me make sure that this is correct. Boom.
It's my
I'm gonna go
X
through.
anniversary today. Striking Ball's
Getting
account is 4 years old.
That's what it is. Yeah. So it's his is at Fez Web 3. He's another one that I look at. That's Foxtrot Echo Zulu, capital F, and then Web 3. And it's all one word. This is his at, and it's capital Whiskey for W Echo Bravo 3. And so Fez Web 3, I like him. He gives off some good meme coins. So you'll see a lot of the stuff I sit there and I've never mentioned him. I should have been. And so I actually felt convicted that I myself am not doing what I'm asking people to do. So by shouting out us little guys, but he's got a pretty big following on X. So, and then there's a couple other there I've been following. I'm still not yet gonna say their name just yet because I just want to make sure they're gonna stick around. And some of them I've just started to follow and paying attention to some of their stuff. And so when I really think that they're like real legit, then I'll go and go, hey, yeah, I like these guys. They're good. So, but when it comes down to Chill Guy, I think we need to get above that monthly 8. But if this thing does and we see it go, look, the monthly 8 is right here at 67 mil. And we're already up to 71 mil. And so this very much could kind of push through if we close above this. And the next level is that 180 or 158 milli. And then after that, there's really nothing until we get about 500 milli for Chill Guy. And then this thing starts to take off and get going. So I like it. I like it a lot. And so that's kind of about it. But let's talk about Shiba Inu and what I kind of expect to see what's actually going to happen here. So Shiba Inu, we talked about, I wanted it to get below here, back into the 5-0. But you can see here that yesterday, as well as today or on Monday, when we had the sell-off didn't necessarily, like when you look at the smaller time frames, right? You saw a lot of buying coming in last week. And so when I was looking at that, and then we saw the this huge sell-off right here with this amount of volume, right? But we didn't really create any real lows, and we bounced off the 200 period moving average right here to a T. Literally on the hour chart, we did boom. And then we saw it starting to pick up here. This is a sign for me. This is one of my indicators that I look at to sit there and say, this thing's going to touch that 200. And the key point is if we see Shiba Inu, which is kind of the king of meme coins next to Doge, but I wouldn't call Doge a meme coin anymore, like, with Elon. If you see Shiba Inu really start to take off here and we see it push, I don't think it's going to go easily through it, But if we see it do something like what we've been watching with the meme coins, where it hits it, sells off, hits it, sells off, but it's slowly catching to the highs above the 200, expect Shiba Inu to start to get up and go. And if we see Shiba Inu really get up and go as the king of meme coins, then I would expect to see a lot of the other mid micro caps. Yeah, mid micro caps. The ones that are sitting around that, 100 milli and above, or 50 to 100 milli, if not 200 milli, really start to take off. And so we want to pay attention to Shiba Inu. It's almost like when you're looking at altcoins and you see Bitcoin starting to go above and how the altcoins will follow that. Shiba seems to be that way when it comes to a lot of these other coins here. So I'm been paying attention to that, and you can see it. It's, if you look at this right here, right? It's the same type of pattern that many of those medium micro caps are, but they got above the 8, or excuse me, they got above the 200, and they're heading towards that 400, right? And so this is a sign saying, okay, again, I will retract the fact that I was wrong. The fact that I thought we were going to go to the 0.5 area, 0.58 or 0.59, but we held this and we held it strong. So now it's about to get on. So we could see potentially it get, if this bull run gets going and we see this thing top off, I think we could see a good run for a potential, 302. And this would make a lot of people wealthy, because they've got a great staking protocol. They've got great stuff when it comes to Bone. And so there's a lot of other things. They've got a whole entire meme ecosystem with their memetic system that they have set up. Shout out to Shogun, who coined that system, or that word, memetics. And I finally am saying it right. The idea behind this is real clear, man. I think we could see this thing get up and go higher. And I think we could get to 0002 by the end of this. I mean, just if we really get up and go. So sitting at this level that right now where we're at a 4.0, that's, I mean, we're talking, that's a 20x on a major meme coin.
Right.
So just throwing that out there real quick. I know we're coming up to the short of this part here, the short of the close of the show here, but unfortunately my body is at this reoccurring system. So if you want to, can you talk a little bit about a few, because I do want to close up
Sure.
with some stuff, but I just got to handle some.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Pedro's going to take a quick break right here. I was just listening to former chairman of the House Financial Services Committee, Patrick Henry's House of Representative, elected from, I'm sorry, it's blanking whether it's North Korea or South Korea. Carolina, South Korea or North that was good. I'm taking in a lot of inputs here, and a news scroller I'm watching said Korea. So Patrick McHenry was from one of the Carolinas. Anyway, he was just on Bloomberg here on the TV next to me talking about the passage of these acts. And even though it's got through a procedural vote to open up debate to talk about them, it's still facing some challenges and going to be tough to get everything through in the time frame that the president wants. And there's a lot of opposition from the Democrats. But that being said, a lot of support from the Democrats. But the Freedom Caucus in the House of Representatives is the caucus that forced Speaker McCarthy out of his job and allowed Speaker Johnson to come in by promising a few things. No massive omnibus bills. We must debate everything on the floor, not in committee. Former Speaker of the House Pelosi didn't allow any debate about anything on the House floor. Everything happened in committees. It just came out and people voted on it or not. And that's not what they wanted. They want the debate to be public and the debate to be vigorous. And I agree with that. However, as we see, the Congress is, and especially the House, has been putting the big beautiful bill was not single issue bill stuff at all. Arguably, the 3 different crypto bills, the Clarity, Genius, and Anti-State Surveillance Acts are kind of all related. Yeah, I get it. so they could bundle them into one, but they're still having problems getting them through the Freedom Caucus. The Freedom Caucus, even though allowing it to go to a debate on the floor of the House, is wanting more protection in there against CBDCs. As we all know, a new Congress could come in, and if, God forbid, the Democrats take control of it, they could just vote to undo that and just, do the opposite. Whatever they do the opposite. Like the 2011 Chicago Blackhawks, when the former owner, Mr. Wirtz, died and his son came in. Mr. Wirtz ran the team into the ground for 30 years. Son came in and said, well, just do the opposite of whatever Dad did. Next year, they won the Stanley Cup. So God forbid that happens with the Democrats, because all hell's going to break loose here. But the good news is that there are lots of younger Democrats that have invested in crypto and use it and support it, but still have to toe the line with their party. So anyway, Patrick McHenry summarized it up by saying it's still a tough road ahead, and it's not likely in its current form to get passed. He talked about the work that when he was still the chairman of the House Financial Services Committee, about how much work they put into the back end of this, and what is now on the floor is very similar to what they worked on. Lots of new things because they don't have to cater to the Elizabeth Warrens of the in the Senate anymore. But still a lot of stuff to work on. Anyway, so that was interesting. Let's go over and talk Bitcoin for a minute here. What screen do I have open here? Oh yeah, I have this screen up here. The liquidation, CoinGlass. I don't know how many of you use the website CoinGlass. Just coinglass.com. An amazing amount of information on this website. And amazingly, I've never used this website. I don't know why. I don't know why I've never used this website. I just haven't. Here, let's turn off the TV here. But I do use Bookmap for where orders are on the various exchanges, and you can see the heat map of where all the orders are, where the liquidity is. Always helpful. But these things, like in the past hour, called the 1 hour wrecked thing. It's right here on the screen. $30.21 million have been wrecked. Mostly the shorts, because Ethereum pumped. Bitcoin had a little bit of a run up here. It's pulled back a little bit. In fact, I better check on my trade. I was up pretty decently. Oh, it dropped back down through the 1 minute 200. Oh, you can't see that. Let's get the indicators here. MA, let's set this up right. MA, let's just do 200 here. 8, 20. Anyway, what you're looking at is the old Bitcoin screen here. Let me get this pricing up. Bitcoin, where did our music go? All right. Bitcoin coming back up a little bit here. But anyway, here on the old Bitcoiner chart, this is the 1 minute chart. I've been trading the 1 minute chart. Actually, let me rephrase that. The hour chart here today was showing a nice little bull flag right here. Came off a little small liquidity sweep here over the past day and a half from 123 down into the 115s. Was recovering nicely. When you look at the various different time frames, it says things are going well for it. I decided to take a little long position in it. Still dumping. Great. Let me get out of this trade. Ugh. So disappointing. Anyway, let's go back to the trade. I got in right about here where this line is here, just before the show started. And it came all the way up here. I was up 35 or $40. And then Pedro and I got to talking. I stopped monitoring it, and it just retraced the whole way back down. And now I'm underwater in the trade. Nothing drives me more crazy than that. I should have had a stop that been moving it up. My stop was down here below the low, right here, and I should have, when I saw it up here, I should have moved my stop up into the profits, or at least taken some of the profits. And I didn't because I got busy with the show. It's called multitasking 101, and it doesn't work in trading. No, it does not. Anyway, thank you to everyone that's watching us on Rumble, YouTube, and X. Really appreciate it. As I've talked about before, I'm trying to take a $500 account to $5,000. I took it up to $1,600, from $500 to $1,600. Took some out to pay the bills, as they say. When it's you can use your phone to pay for it, and it comes out of those accounts. Very easy to do so. So I brought it back down to 200, and then brought it back up to $600, and I'm going to pay some more bills, that type of stuff too. So all these things are good. So I'm going to have to not be able to just show the account at 5,000. I'm going to have to say, all right, here, I withdrew money to pay bills. But that's the whole point of this, to make money, either to save or pay bills. As we can see, let's see if Bitcoin is, finally it's recovering a little. Trump denies plan to fire Powell. Oh, so there's probably a news cycle driving this down. Hopefully it'll recover here or get me back into the profits. It was just down $18 in this trade, using $83 in margin. And using 99x leverage. It's coming back already. All right, so we're good. We're back in the profits. You got any questions about what we're trying to do here? I'm going through a process of learning to trade again. I participated in the commodities and futures trading business long ago in the late 80s, early 90s, mostly the 80s. And then I famously took a couple decades off in order to work in the defense and security business and manufacturing businesses. Oh, look at this. It's coming back nicely here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bring it. Let's make sure we're watching this. I'm glad I didn't close that out or get stopped out. It was close. I wasn't that close to getting my stop. It would be right. Stop would have been in this area here. This is not the actual chart I'm trading on. But as we can see, Bitcoin is recovering nicely. Should have bought the dip, but you can buy the dip and add to your position when you have a proper plan and trading strategy and plenty of money in your account. But I go into a trade with a certain amount of money, and I know that if it hits my stop and stops out, that's fine. Part of my plan is not to add to the trade and make problems worse if it goes against me, because that's how you wreck your account really fast. If it gets a little bit below. Say you've put $50 into a trade, and it's up a little bit. You're like, hey, it's going up, and then it just drips down below it, and it's down $10, and you're like, oh, I'll double up here, and it's just going to come right back up, and then I'll have $100 in trade and make twice the profits. And then, of course, the chart immediately goes boop down, and then suddenly you're down. You've lost your $100 instead of just $50. So you've lost 200% of your money. Not a good plan, and that's not how trading accounts work. Or I should say that's not how they. That's exactly how they work, but that's not how they work in order to make money. Once again, thank you to everybody watching us. Give us a comment here. Pedro and I have a interactive show here. Running a little bit long here today. We got started a little bit late. Tend to get started later. Start late rather than early.
Hey, bud.
All right, here comes Senor Pedro is back.
Hey, sorry about that, guys. I had to take care of some business here.
You had some business. Pedro, I was just finishing up talking about the trade I have on.
Okay.
That if you can, I went long in Bitcoin just before the show, and I noticed during the show, it got up to this level up here. This is not the chart I trade from; it's just the one I have on the screen. And I was up about $35, and I was like, woohoo! And then you and I started talking about Powell or Trump or geniuses or whatever, and I forgot about it, and I didn't move my stop up or take any profits. And then it immediately tanked down. This purple line's the 200 moving average on the 1 minute chart. It just ripped right down below it, and I was like, ah! And I was down $18 all of a sudden. I'm like, ah! Just because I was multitasking and not paying attention.
What's the chart? What's the chart?
Just Bitcoin.
Okay.
And then as I'm telling people I should have moved my stop up, but I was distracted by the show, it immediately just turned around and ripped back up. That's how Bitcoin works, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm up $17, and I'm going to take 80% or 70% of that off the table right now. Close that long and book. I took $19 off that, put it in the bank. So that's how that works.
Compound interest, baby. Takes care of itself. Man, I look forward to it when we can start making some side income on other things, right? And then you can let those compound interest moves really start working in your favor, because you've got to keep. I know you've been having to pay bills, and so think about it like this: if you didn't take out, how much did you spend? You said you took it. You put 500, put it to, was it $1,500 or $1,600?
16.
Yeah, and then so you 3x'd your stuff within a month, right?
I took 14 out.
Took 14 out. Then from there, you have
back to 600.
Yeah, took it to 600 again, and so most likely you'll take that 600, turning into probably 1,800 to 2,000. You could take out your 1,400 again for a month for your bills. Boom. But what happens is you took it from 200 to 600. Now you have 600 after your next bill cycle. So your 600 will most likely turn into about a $2,400 market, right? And so it's kind of this ping pong situation. But again, it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back is what you're experiencing.
As long as you're not 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And that's how trading works. You don't win them all. You just need to win more of them than you lose. If they're all the same dollar amount.
But you're writing down your progress. You're writing down your trades. You're doing what you know to be true, because you're earning, and you are earning your edge in the market. It's the best way of putting it. And the only way for you to earn your edge in the market is by failing and tallying. There is no greater teacher in life than failing. Because right now, I'm building an AI project, literally, that will be created for vibe coding. And I can't tell you how many times we have failed on this. And it's just like, oh my goodness, dude. And money after money gets put into it. And you're just like, but it's this beautiful thing of just failing and growing, and incorporating this blockchain and learning how to set up a proof of work project, and how to do all that, and how that looks, a decentralized system, and you just fail a lot. But every time you fail, you're like, oh, that's where I messed up. Okay, boom, get back up. And that's the way trading is done. That is the way anything that has ever succeeded has been done. It is done by micro inches. As with the longest yard said, this game is won by inches. Through blood and sweat.
I believe they also said, I think she broke my freaking neck. Or I think he broke my freaking neck. He didn't break your freaking neck. Oh, I think he broke your freaking neck. That's the TV version, safe for kids one. The actual movie was much more hilarious with the F word.
Yeah, they were.
Anyway, Pedro, just quickly on the screen here, I'm showing Bloomberg, and they were reporting that the Fed released some numbers today, or that the various governors are talking today. And the Fed Beige Book, which contains the notes on things like that, actually showed the Fed talking about how there's an increase in U.S. economic activity and the economy's getting stronger. I don't know in what ways, but they believed it was the strength was increasing. Maybe, however that works, I don't know. But that supports. Now we see why Jerome Powell is saying, you know what, we know there's troubling parts of the economy and the government debt's a problem, but overall jobs, manufacturing, blah, 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 is cooking along just fine. And now today, that was last week, and just today they just released saying we see U.S. economic activity actually increasing. And so either there's a conflict of what's coming out of the government, or they're bullshitting us.
I think there's a lot of bullshit. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Because my PC is not wanting to switch. Looks like I'm gonna. Please don't. I'm gonna have to close some of these tabs here real quick.
While Pedro's doing that, ladies and gentlemen, as always, this is an educational video and not financial advice. Just want to make sure everyone knows that. Nothing herein has been reviewed or approved by any authority. I should say any competent authority. That's the EU's MICA stuff. And opinions expressed here by Pedro and I do not represent those of DYOR Media and or any other person that appears on this program. Opinions are our own. And remember, this is education. We're not telling you what to do with your money, and we'll never evaluate your portfolio or provide you advice on what to do with your money specifically. We'll tell you what's hot in the market, what Pedro's doing, what I may be doing, and where the charts look good and where they look bad. But it's up to you to make your own decisions, ladies and gentlemen.
So we're watching CPI go up. Right, we're watching it. We're seeing inflation starting to go up. But I've talked about how the underlying assets within our goods and services, food and other things, are being bid up by somebody. Somebody's going in and buying the chart. Okay,
right.
We went over that. And so again, I actually think we're at it should be coming down. So, and part of me almost wonders, is it our own government? So that they can falsify numbers, because when you go out on the street, and again, I sound like conspiracy theorists. I sound like a conspiracy theorist. I'm not disagreeing.
You do, but I wouldn't put it by other people to say, let's just buy the chart, just like a CEO of a company would do.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, if you look at it, and in addition to that, when we look at the numbers for actual real people and getting jobs, we're not seeing private sectors increase. This is the part that is like, that people need to pay attention. That is, everything is hinged on real GDP growth and the private sector really growing. And so when we sit there and we negate that value, it actually is lying, right? Like you're lying to yourself.
Right.
And so you need to understand, jobs that are being created and money going in if it's government. And we saw this happen with the Biden administration, and we're seeing this now, especially when it comes down to the institutions that are hiring. It's not necessarily private industry. We're seeing private industry lay people off, lower wages, or I would say lower wages, but take away hours, right? And so there's these either get rid of the job and or literally just take away hours, right? And so we're watching that happen. And so this is why we're like, I can't get behind what we're doing, like what's actually happening in the market. Like unemployment, right? Well, the unemployment here, it's steady, right? It's steady, if not probably and I think it should be going up, because what's happening is people are dropping off on the actual number, because after 6 months you drop off.
Right.
And so if it's staying steady, but every month, right? So if put it like this, if there was no drop off after 6 months, right? Then that means that this should be going up. And when the job creation that we're seeing is not in private sector jobs, they're in what? Government jobs, civil and statewide now. So understand that when you look at it, private sector jobs are not increasing. If anything, they're decreasing. The unemployment, we know, right? It means, what does that mean? Right? Unemployment, if it's going up, right, it means that we're seeing an increase of people losing jobs. More importantly, it is stagnant. Every month, this should be going down, because if we saw a real increasing in jobs, okay, I'm trying to make this so simple, that this should drop. Either because we're seeing increase in jobs, and or, right, this right here should drop because people fall off after 6 months. It's stagnant for the last 5 months.
Means the amount of people coming in to work equal the amount going out.
No. It means that the people coming out of the job market can't find real jobs. So they're laid off, but after 6 months, they drop off.
Right.
So if that's true, right, it's not equal. There's actually a disparity, meaning people are actually losing jobs and or having their hours worked go down. Instead of 40 hours, it's 36 hours or 32 hours.
Yeah, I'm confused on that one.
I know, I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. If 40 hours is the normal work week, right? Everybody goes and put your 40 in. That's 8
Right.
hours a day. That's a normal work week for Americans. Now, what we saw originally was we saw people, instead of losing their job, they were then decrease on their job hours. This
Right,
is in the
which you
private
can
sector.
claim unemployment compensation for.
But also, more importantly, when this happens, right, you're able to keep your employment sector normal. This is so good, Pedro, and ooh, nice. And so we're seeing an increase, right, of the truth is we're seeing a real increase in unemployment, because if every 6 months it's supposed to drop off, which means that unemployment should see a drop off. If they take the person off of the unemployment
Rolls.
report,
Right.
rolls, right? Like you get cycled every 6 months, right? We should see unemployment go down. We should see that, because those people who were on the first month, after 6 months, they're no longer on it.
Right.
Which means that number, which they had originally, that they cycled through, should drop by 6 months, right? Which, if this thing goes back how long? Like we can see here.
Oh, I see what you mean. I see how I got it wrong. So for every person that drops off, another person actually does lose their job to keep it steady.
And so, yes.
I got you.
Which means that we actually have a higher number. And if we look at job hours worked, they're still decreasing. When we look at actual real private jobs being created and being pushed into the market, it's decreasing. It is literally decreasing. So if you have private jobs, and mind you, we keep talking about government jobs do not help the GDP. Like, it's not like Canada where we're self-independent. We're not subsidized by any other nation. This is why we're literally doing tariffs. Whereas almost 80% of the nations out there are subsidized by you and I, the taxpayer. Like, for most governments to actually run, they need American dollars. This is, I mean, it's, anyways, again, I sound like a conspiracy there, but these are all real numbers. These are all real circumstances and situations that are actually happening. So when you see these numbers, understand, if you're seeing it stagnant, it actually means that things are getting worse.
I'm just trying.
Right? And so there's these.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead. I don't want to.
No, I was just saying. I was just trying to find out what the Fed, who's released the information in the Beige Book, what it actually said, and seeing if Grok had that information already. Does not yet.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll mark that down to see if we can figure out why left hand saying one thing and the right hand saying the other thing. Hey, Pedro, we do need to get going here. I'm late, as they say.
All right. And I cannot, for whatever reason, my PC is not allowing me to switch chart. I wanted to show one other chart, but it's, come on, man. These people need to know, why is this happening?
These people need to know. These people on Rumble that are watching us need to comment. They need to like it. They need to follow us, ladies and gentlemen. Our followers are increasing. Thank you very much. There's many people who don't comment, but do follow us now. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm sad we only got to read one ad today because I missed the first one.
Yeah, it happens. Well, guys, come tomorrow for Thursday. We're gonna go over tomorrow. We're gonna go over again some of those increasing blockchains, and also there's a couple other ones that I'm starting to look at to see what's actually happening from a blockchain standpoint, see the usage, see the increase of it. So these might be coins kind of that be jumping. Also, we didn't go over the launch of what was it, Pump Fund here, and everything that's going along with that.
Oh yeah,
so
we need to do that.
Yeah, I want people to actually understand the full scope of what is actually happening there, and help you understand why that's important to crypto, what it means. It's opening up a decentralized system that, again, is becoming centralized and decentralized kind of at the same time, and so we'll talk about that. But it's pretty cool, and for whatever reason, this thing is just not wanting to go. Maybe if I.
Oh, Pedro.
I want to show this, but because I'm trying to get to the U.S. debt so people can actually see the numbers and you can actually calculate. It's like right there in front of your face. Like if people just look at it and just kind of start understanding the whole scope of what's actually happening.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got for you today. I don't think that Bitcoin number over my head is correct.
Sure, PC messing up too.
The coin market cap feed for that it runs for a while, refreshing the page and refreshing it, and then it just decides to stop. My PC actually worked very nicely today. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is the show for you today. Lots of good stuff in today's episode. Remember, it's Crypto Week here. We're trying to follow various crypto bills. By the end of this week, we could see an actual, completely regulated and fair playing field for all sorts of crypto products, from stable coins to initial coin offerings to you name it. Everything could be legal and perfectly regulated by the end of the week, which would be amazing. It's all Pedro and I have done, and our sister show, Crypto Swamp Creatures, has done for the past year or two is complain about that Biden administration, how they screwed everything up in our. So everything could be fixed just a few days, or at least hopefully soon. Pedro had a good show for today. Thanks for providing the good information on all those BTC, Cardano, all the meme coins, and that you're following all that research that goes into that. Thank you very much. It's much appreciated. I hope it's appreciated by our viewers because you've been making some fat stacks of cash if you listen to some education here. Anyway, we'll be here tomorrow, same bat channel, same bat time. Once again, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here in the digital media world. Man in the box next to me is Mr. Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. We'll see you tomorrow.